Hi everybody, welcome to this week's podcast.
Hello there.
So this week, since we're coming up to Halloween, what we're going to do is we're going to carve pumpkins, and we are going to have a chat about a very, very old Canadian murder mystery. I just wanted to show you, we got this really cool kit from Amazon for carving pumpkins, and it comes in a case and everything. So it has every single tool there. It was like maybe $14, $15. So totally recommend it, because I already cleaned out the pumpkins and I used the scooper and it works perfectly.
Yeah, it works really well. I'm really looking forward to using all those tools. Seeing what I can do with it.
I'm going to take this one. Alrighty, so the mystery that we are going to talk about today actually came from a really, really good website. The website is Great Unsolved Mysteries in Canadian History. And the mystery that we are going to look at today is the Redpath Mansion mystery. So I'm pretty sure you guys remember Redpath sugar. So the Redpath family were a very, very wealthy family in Canada. This crime happened in 1901. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be reading it from the website. So I can put the website up on the screen. I might even put it in the description. But we're going to look at it word for word. So all that is certain is that 2 members of one of Canada's wealthiest families died from gunshot wounds on June 13th, 1901. Ada Maria Mills Redpath, the 59-year-old widow of industrialist John James Redpath, and her 24-year-old son, Clifford Redpath, were shot in Ada's bedroom in the Redpath Mansion in Montreal's affluent Square Mile district. Beyond these facts, it is difficult to know what happened. So, that, a crime case of such a wealthy and well-known family just going forever without being solved, it seems a little suspicious.
Yeah, you would think, being the family that they are, that usually those kind of cases, they jump on it right away.
We do know that the investigation was hasty, so instant red flag, hasty investigation. Apparently the police were not called. Okay.
Yeah, that's never good.
Not a good start.
No, definitely not going to get anywhere like that.
No. A coroner's investigation was opened, closed, and the bodies were buried within 48 hours of the shots being fired. So let's keep these facts in mind.
48 hours?
Yeah, they were buried within 48 hours. Apparently police were not called. And I mean, they were clearly murdered. Open closed coroner's investigation. So the coroner went over the bodies, and then within 48 hours that happened, and also their burial.
Yeah, it seems to all happen pretty fast, like they just wanted to close it up and just be done with it.
By all accounts, the Redpath family never discussed the tragic events of 1901 among themselves or publicly. So it seemed like the whole entire thing was basically not only the bodies, but the whole case itself. Even when it comes to the family, it just never was talked about again, or in the public.
Yeah, almost like they had a reason to hide it.
So who shot whom and why? Why are there so many conflicting versions of the story? Why was the investigation perfunctory? In this whodunit, you will encounter dead ends, closed doors, and intriguing mysteries as you search for the truth. This is a story about a dramatic family tragedy and its settings. So, yeah.
Rife with intrigue already.
Yeah, you can already tell there's going to be something to it. So I had better, before we go any further, I need to
catch up a little bit.
Get these eyes. Yeah, so I love those old cases, and especially where it involves like wealthy, the old money, the old wealth.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Well, because it's easier for people to get away with crimes in those days. So,
yeah. Oh, truly.
And especially to be in such a wealthy family and situation. There's, often stories of backstabbing and literal backstabbing.
Yeah, like, this one's weird, though, because even the family doesn't want to talk about it, so...
Yeah, so what's going on there?
And keep in mind, it was the mom and the son that were killed. So, odd.
So probably like the two first heirs to the money.
Well, yeah, I guess we're going to get into a little bit more of the story. So the way this website is laid out is so cool because it's almost like going through files. So you're just going through tabs, and then at the end of it, you could make your decision what you think happened, and that's Great Canadian Unsolved Mysteries in Canada History. All right, back to the story. So, as Peter Redpath told the story, he heard shots, dashed to his mother's bedroom, and found her and his younger brother Cliff lying on the floor. So there was another family member there. I guess it was another son. The family servants rushed to help. It was June 13th, 1901. At 6 p.m., Mrs. Redpath died instantly. The case attracted wide publicity because the Redpaths were among the richest families in Canada and well known as philanthropists and industrialists. Clifford's grandfather, Scottish-born John Redpath, had amassed a fortune by building the Lachine and Rideau canals. Wow. Okay. So they are beyond rich.
Yeah. A very important man.
Yeah. Founding the Canada Sugar Refining Company in 1854 and purchasing land holdings in Montreal. So, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of money. A lot of money. I mean, even the sugar alone. The investigation was short and sweet. A coroner's inquest was held the next day, and on June 15th, Ada and Clifford Redpath were buried in the Redpath family grave in Mount Royal Cemetery.
Oh, interesting.
Blood ties. In 1901, the Redpaths belonged to an English-speaking elite that lived in Montreal's wealthy square mile, an intimate and close community of its own making. Families patronized the same educational, religious, and social institutions, and their children intermarried. Well, that was pretty common back then. They sort of... The wealthy hover with the wealthy, and now I have a son and you have a daughter, so...
Yeah, let's marry them off.
Right.
Whether they like each other or not.
Yeah.
In some cases, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, well, sure. And I'm sure that the kids were sort of expecting that. Like, when I grow up, I'm going to marry him, or,
Yeah. Which, I mean, they probably didn't really have a problem with, I guess. Probably not. Keep them in the life in which they're accustomed to.
Yeah, I guess they didn't know any better at the time, really. You can mix with other classes. It's okay.
Yeah.
The families of the square mile shopped at stores and accessed professional services, medical, dental, legal, and accounting, provided by those of comparable ethnic and class background. So even they're doing business with their circle.
Yeah, keeping it in between all of the same families. Helping each other out, I guess.
The heads of these households, the so-called merchant princess and captains of industry, created business partnerships, and sat on each other's board of directors. Families provided valuable assistance in business, encouraging fathers, brothers, uncles, and in-laws to work together. Oh, of course. So, I mean, that was natural too. Sort of someone marries into the family and they work for the company. I guess that goes for the men in the family.
Yeah.
The son-in-laws.
True.
Sons and sons-in-law worked in their father's businesses. Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
And had ready access to capital so that they could establish their own enterprises. Wow. Well, yeah.
They really scratched each other's backs.
Oh, yeah. Blood ties were extremely significant. Family bonds work through the rituals of godparenting and marriage, supplying family members economic and emotional support. The architectural settings of the Redpath family tragedy are windows on a daily life in Montreal's Square Mile. The Redpath family home the Redpath family home at 1065 Sherbrooke, where the shootings occurred, the nearby hospital to which Clifford was apparently rushed, and the numerous city landmarks commissioned and endowed by the Redpath family are typical Victorian-era buildings. Without exception, they were designed by well-known architects, whose pedigrees and expertise added considerable cachet to the family's identity and self-image. So, of course, they would have the best of the best.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know. What a waste of money.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Usually. It's used for all kinds of excess, as we've all heard. The ways money is thrown around.
Like, you have to be really super rich to just have the kind of money to throw around for, like, art, artwork, statues and stuff.
Would have been good for the artists, though.
Oh, sure. I guess artists did very well back then. But, I mean, you had to be connected, too. Because they would all use each other's artists and sculptures. The Redpath household in 1901 included Ada Mills Redpath, 2 grown children, and 3 family servants. Physicians, friends, and other family members and language tutors were also regular visitors to 1065 Sherbrooke Street, making it a beehive of social activity. Okay, I wonder what happened to Mr. Redpath.
Yeah. I just didn't want to live there anymore, I guess.
Okay. Let's go to the next file. Now that you have examined the surviving evidence from the tragic events of June 13th, 1901, it's your turn to solve the Redpath Mansion mystery. Who killed Ada and Clifford Redpath? I mean, who knows? If there were so many people in and out of there.
Yeah, it's hard to say for sure. Obviously, I don't know. Sure seems like foul play.
What? There was that other son.
Yeah, well, I feel like...
Definitely something to do with money, right?
Yeah, well, because if it was like the wife and I don't know if he was the firstborn son, but they're like the 2 immediate heirs if something were to happen to the big dog at the family. So, you know, who would be next would be the other son, right?
Well, obviously the fortune must have been left to Ada, the wife, when the husband, I'm assuming he's passed. He wasn't even actually mentioned in those stories.
Oh.
Okay, so he's just not there with them.
Yeah.
Let's assume that he's passed on.
Yeah.
And there's a will involved and money. So the first person that the fortune would go to would be the wife.
Yeah, she'd be the first, yeah.
And then, if it's like a proper will and whatnot, I can't really speak for 1901, But I mean, the next in line would be the siblings.
Be the oldest first, right?
It would be equal amongst siblings, unless there was something specifically put in there saying that this son gets less than this son, sort of thing, and why.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds like something happened there, and two heirs were sort of moved out of the way.
Yeah, exactly.
By the sounds of it.
They're moved out of the equation.
Yeah, so I'm going to guess, just a wild guess, probably the second son.
That's what I'm thinking. It definitely seems the most likely for the situation.
Okay. Mystery solved.
Yeah, there you go. Good night, everyone.
We did it.
Have a good night.
We did it. Been unsolved since 1901.
Yeah. It's like they just wanted to hurry up and get them buried, and that's that, you know. Wash your hands of it.
Well, yeah, why wouldn't the son, the remaining child, say, you know, I need to know what happened to my brother and my mom?
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't even a thing, you know, but I don't know. I just feel like since he didn't try to fight for justice.
Yeah, like he just didn't care after that. Almost seems like, right?
Yeah.
So,
Guilty.
Yeah, that's that, you know.
Yeah, solved. We did it. So the next mystery we're going to look at is of the disappearance of Tom Thomson. So Tom Thomson was one of Canada's most influential painters of the 20th century. He was last seen alive around midday, July 8th, 1917, when setting out alone across Canoe Lake to begin a fishing trip. He was familiar with the area, having visited there a number of times. While working in the park as a fire ranger, a guide for fishing parties, and of course, pursuing his painting. So, he knew his environment.
Yeah, he knew his way around.
Within hours of his departure, his empty canoe was spotted floating not far from the dock. And more than a week later, his body surfaced in the lake. His untimely death helped transform the inspiring artist into a cultural giant. His paintings are now seen in galleries across Canada, and exhibitions of his work will always attract large audiences. In the last few years, paintings by Thomson have fetched over $1 million at auction.
Jeez.
And he's not even here to enjoy it.
No.
How Thomson died, who found his body, its condition, and even its final resting place all remain mysteries. Oh, interesting.
Oh, so they don't really know what happened after that.
Some propose the cause of Thomson's death was an accident resulting from plain bad luck, while others suggest unaliving. And still others point to foul play resulting from a conflict over a debt, a love interest, or opinions about the war effort. Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, that'll do it. To add even more mystery to the affair, there are serious questions regarding whether Thomson's body was moved from its first resting place. Oh.
From its first resting place?
And then thrown in the water.
Oh, I see. Oh, jeez. Somebody would do that, but...
Could it be that Algonquin Park and Canoe Lake were more dangerous than they appeared in Thomson's paintings? As investigators began to consider the artist's mysterious death, popular ideas of a peaceful, harmonious natural parkland began to evaporate. The region bore the marks of intensive logging. Treacherous stumps and logs lurked under the water's surface. Could one of these have tipped Thomson's canoe, resulting in his drowning? But...
I mean, surely he could swim, though, like...
But he also knew the area.
Yeah, that's true, so why would he just be going through an area that's not safe for canoeing.
The abundant wildlife the park helped protect presented a tempting target for poachers, who might be willing to go to extreme ends to hide their illegal activities. So, I've heard about this before. I've actually heard about park rangers being murdered and then bodies being found much later because of hunters and whatnot.
Wow, that's pretty cutthroat.
I can see him being very protective, obviously.
Oh, for sure.
So, yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. Could the trains coming through the park carrying troops and goods important for the war effort have attracted spies and saboteurs, desperate to hide their subversions? Okay.
Spies.
Spies now.
In Algonquin Park.
Who knows? I mean, around the time of the war.
Yeah, well,
It was wild back then. It really was wild.
Yeah. Well, they would have been suspicious of people anyway.
Everybody.
Not, yeah.
Everybody. Alrighty. The isolation of the park might also have attracted Canadian and American men attempting to avoid fighting in the war. How far might one of these men have gone to maintain their anonymity? So that's another theory about what might have happened.
Also true.
Yeah. But to kill someone, I mean, I don't think... Just doesn't seem like the type that would be, if he ran into a fella in the woods that's saying, I'm trying not to fight, would he be like, well, I'm telling? Like, I can't see that.
Yeah, I don't know, especially if I don't know if they all had reasons for not doing it, or, if they had family or something, obviously they wouldn't want to go. I mean, I say obviously some men were proud to go do it for their country and for their family,
yeah. Canada was patriotic,
yeah.
But on the other hand, we were also a safe haven for people that didn't want to go to war. And not just in the First and Second World Wars either, right? It's just like a famous hiding spot. During the summer of 1917, Tom Thomson's death in Ontario's Algonquin Park shocked his friends and family. Almost immediately, rumors began to circulate that the cause of death declared by the coroner, accidental drowning, might not be the correct cause of death. So between 1912 and 1917, Tom Thomson visited portions of the vast, thinly populated region known as New Ontario, the part of the province lying between Georgian Bay and Ottawa. Within this area is located Algonquin Park, created by the province of Ontario in 1893. Thomson spent a considerable amount of time there during the last 5 years of his life. So, okay. I mean, he knows it.
Yeah, he knows his way around. It's hard to believe that something like that would happen to him.
He lived there. He worked there. Spent time there. Tom Thomson belonged to a dynamic community of artists that came together in Toronto. The comradeship between some of Thomson's artistic friends led to a noteworthy union after his death. In 1920, a group of his artistic peers banded together to exhibit their works and pursue common interest, known as the Group of Seven. They had clear ideas about what goals Canadian artists should be pursuing and the style of art they should try to make, and very quickly attained critical and popular success. Okay, Group of Seven. All right. The members of this group often cited Tom Thomson as an important inspiration. These artists popularized a way of painting that has come to be widely regarded as Canada's national style. Okay, and if I can find an example of that, I'll put it here. I'm sure I should find that. I get what they're getting at with the style, though. I feel like probably more like that sort of Georgian Bay, wind-blown trees and water and rock.
Yeah, I know exactly
Canadian
what
Shield.
you're saying. Yeah.
I bet. Questions regarding Thomson's death have perplexed investigators for many decades. Since the tragedy, investigators have used many different strategies to document his life, as well as to uncover an abundance of new evidence regarding Thomson's death. Some investigators argue the information they found supported existing theories of how Thomson died, while others declare the information they discovered justified new theories regarding Thomson's demise. So there wasn't much more on that website about it, but I did find this book, and it's titled The Many Deaths of Tom Thomson, Separating Fact from Fiction. It looks very good. Was published in May 2016, so I mean, like, pretty recent.
Fairly recent, yeah.
Was landscape painter Tom Thomson shot by poachers? Well, they would know if he was shot, though.
Yeah, you would think so. Like, there would be some kind of wound.
Yeah.
Give it away.
No, the coroner would have said he was shot. Was he shot by poachers? Or a German-American draft dodger? Did a blow from a canoe paddle knock him unconscious and into the water? Was he fatally injured in a drunken fight? Did he end his life out of fear of being forced to marry his pregnant girlfriend? Oh, there's some drama involved in this one.
Jeez.
Okay. So this sounds like a mystery. We should probably, maybe we should do a podcast of it on its own, because there's a lot happening here.
Yeah. Some of those old artists from back in the day always had really interesting lives. There's always something going on with them.
Yeah, they really, and I guess, I mean, maybe he just didn't want to get, I mean, I don't know why you would unalive yourself just to get out of getting married when he could just disappear. I mean, that wouldn't be right. Just saying, there's better ways of doing it. So easy to write off a case of drowning. Even if there's an injury to anywhere on the body in the water, they would just say, that the leg hit a rock, or, the head was smashed up against a dog. Like, it's
hard to say once they're in the water, I guess.
Unless they look super deep. I mean, a gunshot, though, was pretty obvious. That's not anything that nature could mock.
No.
Well, anyway, I just thought we would share some of those mysteries with you, and we'd have a little chat about them. Pretty creepy. I think going back to the Redpath murder mystery, that one will never be solved. I can't see it, because if the family wasn't interested back then, it's sort of buried.
Yeah,
it was buried from day one, so...
What do you do about it now,
No. Tom Thomson, still ongoing investigation. That one's a little bit different. There's a lot involved there. I think we might cover it, maybe for a full podcast. I'll do some digging and I'll see what I can come up with, because there's a lot of theories there. Honestly, it could just be a simple drowning.
Could be something that simple.
They're suspecting foul play. Like, a number of investigators are suspecting foul play, so...
Seems like it could be the most likely.
And I don't know, like one false move in the woods. If you're familiar with Algonquin Park, I mean, it is huge, untouched, very well protected, a lot of different terrain there too. Yeah. I guess you can know the area, but then again, you never know. You slip on a rock. What I want to look into a little bit more is sort of the theory that his body was moved and thrown into the water.
Yeah, true.
Because that's an outstanding theory, and it's up there. It's one of the big ones. So, how they know, there are ways to know that. Maybe there's a certain type of dirt, or maybe he could have had pine needles in his pocket, you know what I mean? So...
Yeah, there could have been something to give away, like...
Yeah, they're not quite saying. From what I could see, there's not a lot in the public about it. But we're going to see what we can dig up, and maybe we'll delve into that in a future podcast, because that's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, something to think about. And I think we're almost done here, Danny. How's your jack-o'-lantern going?
He's coming along.
Looking pretty good. Mine's very plain.
Well, that's just me. I don't know.
This guy's going to be a classic.
Yeah, he's a classic pumpkin.
He's a classic dude. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some candles in our pumpkins and we will show you the end result. Okay, so we are finished our pumpkins. We're going to show you a close-up shot. Danny's is pretty intricate. Mine's very old school, plain.
Yeah, but yours is like the perfect example of what a pumpkin should aspire to be. Or jack-o'-lantern, sorry.
I mean, I think it looks pretty cool. Yeah, it's kind of like a classic looking one.
I'll show you guys first. Look at that. Oh. It looks pretty menacing. Kind of guy all other jack-o'-lanterns would want to hang around.
I think so.
Perfect.
I think so.
And you got mine who looks anguished. I took maybe a little too much time on that. I made it a little bit 3D. Put some details in there. He doesn't look very happy, does he?
Oh, his skin is gone. He skinned him.
Yeah. And we got a few teeth left as well. In there. But, so that's our pumpkins.
That's our pumpkins. That's our mysteries.
Yep.
Something to think about. So tomorrow we are going to Pumpkin Inferno at beautiful Discovery Harbor, so we'll be able to show you a little bit more of Penetang.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
And there's a few other surprises there. We're going to have some really, really cool footage. We have a few extras. Saturday, my sister and I are going to a Rocky Horror Picture Show event, so that one's going to be pretty funny. I'm going to record what I can. I created an outfit for it, so I'm super excited. Sunday, we are taking a trip up to Muskoka, basically, up to Cottage Country. We're going to an Elvis festival. But we're going to record some fall colors along the way and sort of show you a little bit of Cottage Country.
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful drive.
And we love this time of year. This time of year is just
Our
Halloween
favorite.
and fall. Oh yeah, we just live for it. So expect another video after this one.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.